I'll go ahead.
Jungle,
I can hear everything. Now I'm good. Let's go.
Holland Jungle.
Yeah. We here, folks. We back. We back, folks. Talent. Thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. It's your boy, Ronnie Lott, the sports jock. You know I got talent with me. I always got, even if talent ain't in the building, I always got talent with me. Because, you know, I'm talented. I don't know at what, but eventually I'm going to figure out what it is. Let's go ahead and talk to my co-host, Talent in the building. Say something, Talent.
The talent in the building. I'm on site right now at the LA game. In the owner's box, sitting away from the peasants.
Hey man, so how the game looking? How's Bynum looking, Talent?
I mean, the game looking, you know, it's a sluggish game right now. The Lakers are basically blowing these boys out. You know, just like that boy. It's gonna be another boring series, just like the damn Utah Jazz and the Spurs. But you know, I had to fly to LA, you know, just to see that Mamba in person.
Well, you know, big people do big things. I could appreciate that, you know. I understand. You know, Spectator Sport, we keep it big. We everywhere. We going to you. We coming to your city. That's how we do it. Spectator Sport, keeping it live. Once again, thanks again for tuning in. You listening to the hottest sports talk show on the net. This is PTI on steroids. That's what we are. Just flies on steroids. It's kind of doing some PTI-ish type of stuff. But let's continue on. Thanks again. You talking to your boy Ronnie Lott, the sports jock. Once again, we got a great show planned. First thing we want to talk about is playoffs time, baby. We got to talk playoffs. But you know what? Before we get into the playoffs, NFL draft, Talent, what you do? You live for this, right?
Say that again?
What you live for, Talent? What you live for?
Oh, you know, I live for the draft. You know, I'm a draft guy. This is the day I live for. I watch every pick. I analyze every pick. I look at all the teams, even though I'm a 49er fan. But this is what I live for. I live for the NFL draft. It's not crazy. It's sports. You know, you see the ESPN commercial.
Yeah, I love that. I love ESPN's commercial. You guys have been doing a great job on their commercial day. But let's go ahead and keep it moving because, you know, I ain't here to give ESPN props because they ain't giving me no props. When ESPN start talking spectator sport, that's when we going to stop on ESPN. Keep it moving. That's how we do. Facebook, baby. Let's go ahead and hit our content. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL draft. Tyler, what do you think about the draft's whole new format? What do you think about the draft format? The whole 3-day format?
I think it's a great format. I mean, when they went to this format last year, it was great. I mean, you know, you got the first round that's just only for the first rounders, and, you know, it's only 3 hours, which is not long. Instead of taking up your whole weekend, it only takes up one day, which is a Saturday, and it's only about 6:30. So I think the format of the draft, they changed it. They made it perfect. Goodell did a good job on that.
I mean, I'm not sure if I like the 3 days, but I am a lot happier about the speed of the draft. I think the picks come in a lot quicker. It's a lot more active. I remember back in the days where it just like seemed as if the draft just drug on way too long. But the draft is getting a lot better.
The timing of everything. The timing was too much time. Teams had too much time to make a pick, and it was just basically people just trying to, you know, fool other teams to get some trade. You know, to trade out of a spot, and so that's why it always seems so long. But since they cut the time down, and like I said, I like the 3 days. I mean, I think it's better.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about who you think had the best draft. Go ahead and tell me what you think about that, Talent.
Well, my winners and losers of the draft, the winners of the draft, I don't know if you really can win in the draft because you never really know what your prospects is going to look like. You have to give them at least 2 or 3 years, but I want to go ahead and give it to the Philadelphia Eagles. They address every positional need as far as defense, the linebacking core they need to address, and also they signed all the free agents, you know, with Deshaun Jackson and anybody that was in question needed to be signed. But the Philadelphia Eagles won this draft to me because they addressed all their defensive needs. They didn't really go offense. They just drafted Nick Foles at the quarterback position, which, you know, he's going to be a developmental guy for Mike Vick, and, you know, so Vic could go ahead and take him under his wing and teach him. But the Philadelphia Eagles, to me, won this draft. This past weekend, because, like I said, they addressed all their needs that they needed this weekend.
Tonight, I'm announcing.
Talk about shock value. Talk about shock value. How can you tell me who's won the draft? We've learned nothing that we didn't know before the draft, other than a few different players are on teams that they weren't on before. I don't know if this kid can play or not because he hasn't stepped in the league. Philadelphia, personally, I'm not happy with their release or trading of Asante Samuel, a guy who's had at least 8 picks. I mean, this guy's a top-tier defensive back corner. I mean, you could have stuck him in the slot, but you get rid of Asante for a 7th-round pick? Are you kidding me? Get out of here, Philadelphia. I can't respect
what you don't understand is they don't need Asante no more. Asante is not even a man-to-man guy anyway, so they really don't need Asante. And then they drafted Brandon Boykins out of Georgia and the third round. It's going to be a nickel back now, so there's no controversy in that secondary of who should be starting. You got your 2 starters, and now you have your nickel back in Brandon Boykins, which also is going to help you in the return game. So the Eagles, like I said, they made out the best this weekend, addressing all the positional needs that they did this past weekend. Asante Samuel is a zone corner. He's not a man-to-man guy. And, everyone knows what the Eagles like to do. They like to blitz, and they like to have their corners left the man. And Asante Samuel he's not a man guy. So, I mean, the 7th-round pick, I mean, they had to get something for him, obviously. And they got Bryce Brown, which was the #1 running back in the nation. About 3 or 4 years ago, Bryce Brown, they picked up in the 7th round, which is a big physical kid, and also fast. A nice compliment to LaShawn McCoy. So, I mean, the Eagles had a nice draft, looking at, all their picks.
I definitely like Bryce Brown. The kid was originally drafted by the U, so I do have some insight into this particular guy. I mean, Bryce Brown's a good back, but at the same time, Philadelphia doesn't have an issue with their running game. They have other issues. Like I said, to me personally, I think the Cleveland Browns may have had the best draft. And the only reason I say that, because I think Trent Richardson might be the best player in the draft. So I think when you go out and get the guy who's going to be the most explosive in the draft and who's going to have the biggest impact on a team in that draft, I think it's Trent Richardson. So that's why I say you have the best draft. I'm not going to go off on, oh, this guy may do this guy may do that. Everybody know what Trent Richardson's going to do. He's going to run it down your throat. He's going to see all those dreads just shaking in the air, and he might be in the club. I'm sure he's going to buy a few Bentleys. I mean, he was already at Alabama with an Escalade on 26s. So, I mean, the kid might buy a jet and leave the draft.
Think about that.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about over there with all this Bentley and all this nonsense talk. Cleveland did have, I'll give you that, they did have a good draft. I mean, the only question that I will have for Cleveland is, why Brandon Weeden at that number 22 overall pick? I understand Kimber Wright was not there, but at the same time, I don't take Brandon Weeden. I still feel that he would have been there in the 2nd round. I mean, the one pick that I do like is Travis Benjamin at the receiver position from the U that could help you in the return game, and he is a good receiver. He's just he's not just a return man. He can run routes, he can get deep. So that I do like that, they addressed a lot of defensive issues. Even though they already had a top 10 defense in the NFL, but they added a lot of more depth on their defense, and also they picked up a right tackle, that's going to also benefit Brandon Weeden, and they got him some weapons also, like you said, with Trent Richardson. But, I mean, the only question I would have about Cleveland's draft is why Weeden with the 22 overall pick. I think he would have been there in the 2nd round. I think there's too many teams that questioned, not questioned about him, but just the fact that they had a problem with his age. That's why I think he would have fell into the 2nd round. I don't think they should have used the 22nd pick on him. Even though I still think he's better than Ryan Tannehill, I don't believe you should have used the 22nd overall pick on Brandon Weeden when he would have been there in the 2nd round.
Can you please not mention that name, Ryan Tannehill? I've been having nightmares of the Dolphins draft ever since Thursday. I mean, being a Dolphin fan, I mean, I've literally been on suicide alert. I mean, you go and get Brandon Weeden. Before that, I mean, you still have Matt Moore. You go out and get David Garrard. I mean, just the direction that this Dolphin organization, I'm just not happy with the direction. I mean, if I was a bandwagon guy, I would have.
I mean, you're going overboard right now. You're just one of those psychotic Dolphins fans that you guys just don't understand like what your team is trying to do. They didn't have that bad of a draft. The Tannehill pick, yes, it was a questionable pick, but you know they made it. But then they went tackle, which you guys need a right tackle right now. Then you went DN, you need an outside pass rusher. You went Michael Aikman from Missouri, the tight end. He's a big tight end, 6'6" guy, 4'6", 40. He's a big guy. Lamar Miller, I mean, he's going to complement Reggie Bush better than Dale Thomas because he's fast and he can run between the tackles. Then you address your outside linebacker, and you went and got 2 receivers with also a deep tackle come from Texas. So the Dolphins didn't have a bad draft this weekend. You just had, like I said, you Dolphins fans concern yourself too much with one pick. I mean, Tannehill is a developmental guy. You know, you still got Matt Moore being there for 1 whole year. And, you know, Matt Moore, you know, had a good year last year. So, like I said, don't just Dolphins fans really concern themselves with the first pick of the draft.
I have to concern myself with the first pick.
You can win this draft even though you took a bad first-round pick.
Hey, talent. I have to concern myself with this pick because this pick, the Dolphins hasn't chosen a quarterback in the first round since Marino. So you telling me you haven't seen anyone worthy to pick in the first round since Marino, and the first guy you see is Ryan Tannehill, a guy who didn't start until his senior year? You know what? Just end it. The Dolphins should just forfeit their season and go play in Canada somewhere because they're not playing American football.
What I'm going to tell you is this, though.
They're not playing American football.
Draft with just one pick. Ryan Tannehill is not. We understand that Ryan Tannehill is a questionable pick, but you got to understand what the concerns and the position of needs that they address later on in the draft. That which they look like when you look at their draft overall, they got better. The team overall got better when you're looking at the rest of their draft. You guys, like I said, you Dolphin fans want to concern yourself with one pick. That's not when you're not going to win the draft by drafting one guy. With the rest of their draft look very good.
Well, like I say, man, I don't want to sit here and quarrel over the Dolphins draft picks because if I was to do that, like I said, suicide alert. Suicide alert. Let's go ahead and talk about something that's a little bit more friendly, something that just have me in a better mood. Let's talk about the 49ers draft because they had a pretty crappy draft. Let's go ahead and talk about the Niners draft.
We had a great draft. I mean, like I said, picking up A.J. Jenkins in the first round, which, you know, we only signed, because a lot of people was questioning why would we take a receiver when we signed our receiver. We only got Randy for 1 year. A.J. Jenkins can be a spot receiver, learn the position, you know, from a great like Randy Moss. And, you know, in the following year with Crabtree, with Manningham, you know, he's going to be a dangerous dude. He's a 4'3" guy, over 6 foot, got good hands, and he's one of the top receivers in the Big Ten. Then we went to Michael James in the second round, which is a great back. He's a change of pace back, who also will help us in the return game.
The guy weighs 150 pounds.
He
weighs 150 pounds.
Frank Gore has speed, but Michael James, as far as that running back in the second round, I like a lot.
Hold on. Talent, let me stop you for a minute. Please stop. You like LaMichael James, you already have Frank Gore, and then you bring in Brandon Jacobs, then you already have, what's the other backup running back name? That was
what you understand is this, though.
And then on top of that, you bring in a 150-pound running back.
LaMichael James is going to help our offense. He's going to help our return game.
He's not a returner. He's a running back.
Big third down backs in the passing game. LaMichael James is a playmaker. He can make plays if you're doing a swing pass or even getting a matchup on a linebacker, you know, in a third down situation. That's a situational player that will be perfect for our offense because Frank Gore, Brandon Jacobs, and a third and 10 or third and 12 is not going to be that guy that we're going to be looking for out the backfield. We have to keep them in the block. But if you put Michael James on the field, he's going to bring matchup nightmares for defenses on third and long situations, and plus help us in the return game, that would be a great pick for Alex Smith because we need more offensive weapons as far as the receiver position goes. So that's why that's a good pick.
Definitely.
I mean, the rest of our draft was good. We addressed some offensive line needs, and then we also want some defensive picks. You know, even though we have one of the best defenses in the league, but you always need that depth at defense. So we had a good draft.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's forget about the Niners for now. So who do you think had the most questionable pick of the first round? Who was the most questionable
Well,
pick?
now, I'm not going to go to questionable pick. I'm going to tell you my losers of the draft before I give you the most questionable pick in this draft. The losers of this draft is the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know why they are the losers of the draft? They made a great decision by trading up 2 spots to get Justin Blackman. They started off great. And then they went and got an outside rusher that they needed in Andre Branch because they need someone to rush their passer. But to grab a punter in the 3rd round
you killing me.
just
you killing me.
Right, ridiculous.
But I'll say this. I'll say this.
A punter who,
I'll say this. They're comparing this guy to Shane Leckler, that plays for the Raiders. So if you're telling me you can get Shane Leckler, and this guy I'm talking about, Shane Leckler is actually a weapon.
I don't care what they're comparing him to. And I don't care what you compare him to. He has not produced it in the NFL. I can tell you some 3rd-round picks that the Jacksonville Jaguars could have picked up that could have helped their team besides a punter. You picked up a punter in the 3rd round like you have a complete football team. That is a joke. You wasted a pick. You didn't have a lot of other picks like in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round that you could waste on a 3rd-round pick and a punter is just ridiculous. You know how many prospects that you had going in the 3rd round? Devere Posey, Josh Robinson, cornerback. They had the Dean and Oliver Byrne at the Miami pick, that Brandon Taylor cornerback. These players that could have contributed to your team and your defense that you passed up on to get this dude is just ridiculous. T.Y. Hilton, fast, situational guy that would have helped.
I love that T.Y. Hilton pickup.
To match up with Justin Blackman. It's just so many guys that went in the 3rd round besides a punter. You don't draft punters. You draft punters in 6th, 7th round. If at all, they might even get picked up in free agency. But you don't draft a punter in the 3rd round, and that's why they're my losers in this year's draft because they drafted a punter in the 3rd round. It's just ridiculous.
I won't even lie. It's really hard for me to dispute a punter being taken in the 3rd round. It makes no sense. He probably wouldn't even been looked at until like the 5th or 6th. But that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's why they are who they are. But hey, they still got Justin Blackman. And that's a major pickup because you tell me you got Jones-Drew, who's basically good for 1,800 all-purpose yards every year with no help. So you tell me you get him some help, that's gonna make a big difference. Now you tell me your best pick or your worst pick of the draft, a 1st round, excuse me, or your best 1st round pick.
They have the worst draft team because then you won't have a 4th round, then you won't have 5, 6, and 7, which a 3rd round pick. He is so people who pick the 3rd round, they can contribute to your football team. Definitely. That can actually affect the game. A punter is not going to do that. They have to be the losers in this year's draft because you don't have a 4th round pick and then you go punter with your 3rd round pick. That doesn't make any sense. Your team is one of the worst teams in the NFL right now, and you're taking a punter in the 3rd round, and you have one of the best records in the NFL. If I was a New England Patriots, I would have no problem with that pick. But it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. You just don't make that pick there when they had too many quality players on the board at that time.
Okay, Tyler, listen to this. That might have been one of the worst things that I've seen all weekend. But I can't say it's the worst because I seen this report online where they were saying that Tim Tebow was top 100 players of 2011 or 12. Are you kidding me? Did you see that report? That's the biggest crock of crap I've seen all year. Tim Tebow, top 100.
You don't respect winning, so I can't argue with you about Tim Tebow because you don't respect winning. So I'm not going to argue with a crazy man.
I'm winning.
Are you kidding me? You telling me Tim Tebow was one of the top 100 players of all 2012?
Did he win a playoff game?
4th quarter.
He won a playoff game, correct? He won a playoff game, and he took his team to the playoffs.
We talking about every position.
He was one of the most dangerous players. And how many 4th quarter comebacks did he have? How can you not vote him one of the top 100 players in 2012 after what this kid done this season? For you to even sit here and even question that, it's just ridiculous in its own right. So, like I said, I can't really argue. I don't argue with people about Tim Tebow anymore because at the end of the day, if you don't like Tebow, you don't like winning. And who wants to argue with somebody who doesn't like winning? That means it's just crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and get back to our draft talk because I don't want to continue with the Tim Tebow rhetoric that has plagued me for all of my existence here on Spectator Sport. Let's talk about who you thought was the best 1st round pick. Obviously, I've told you already that I got to go with my boy Trent Richardson. Running game, man game.
Okay, so you said, well,
I think
the
Trent
best pick in
Richardson.
the first round to me is the Dallas Cowboys trading up to get Morris Claiborne. I mean, to give up a second round and move up to that pick, I think it was nothing, to be honest with you.
Are you kidding me?
Claiborne, he's a lockdown.
Hold on.
Ball skills out this world like Deion Sanders. I mean, to move up to the 6th overall pick and to jump in front of these teams that could have used the cornerback, and to add with Brandon Carr and Mike Jenkins in that secondary, you know, that's a steal.
Hey, Tyler, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question then, since you mentioned that pick. Do you think they should have went with dude from Alabama, the 6'2" cornerback, over Claiborne?
Do I think they should have went with Mark Barron over Claiborne?
No, what's the other cornerback from Alabama that went a little bit after? He's the second corner took it.
Stephen Gilmore was the second cornerback taking the draft. You're talking about Drake Kirkpatrick?
Kirkpatrick, there you go. 6'2", man, 6'2".
He covers better, and he has better ball skills than Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick is a better tackler than Claiborne.
6'2", man,
6'2". Covering-wise, you got to take Claiborne, and what, you know, that defense likes to do, they like to blitz and leave their corners in man coverage. Drake Kirkpatrick can, you know, he can cover, but I mean, he can tackle, but he's not that good as far as when the ball's in the air, him locating the ball and, you know, batting down passes like Claiborne is. You know, and Claiborne has way better hands than him as well. I mean, you can't really argue that pick with Dallas did. That's the best pickup in the first round. To me, trading up to get that dude is just, that's going to help the team tremendously, and a team that's on the rise that people, you know, pick to go to the Super Bowl every year. But to get Brandon Carr, Morris Claiborne, and now Mike Jenkins as your nickel back is just, I mean, that's nightmarish for, you know, teams that, you know, have to face the Cowboys this year, because you got guys who can cover all over the field, and then with that blitz coming at you and DeMarcus Ware, it's just crazy. That's a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys, though.
Definitely, I agree with you. Definitely, I agree with you. Not a bad pick. Let's go ahead and talk about the Redskins and taking Cousins in the 4th round. I mean, you go RG3 with the 2nd overall pick, and you tell me you move up to get RG3, and you put everything into RG3. And then you come back and go with another quarterback in the 4th. So either you're not sold on RG3, or you think he's not very durable.
That's not. I mean, that pick with Kirk Cousins is just. I mean, they have to be sold on. For you to even say they're not sold on, you cannot not be sold on a guy that you traded 3 number 1s away for in the 2nd round in this year's draft. But you cannot say you're not sold on the guy. I mean, they're trying to justify that, saying he was the best, you know, on that big board, he was the best player at that time. You can't make this pick. Like I said, they're just like the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's too many players on the board that you cannot pass up. You're running, your backfield needs help. Lamar Miller was on the board at that time. Well, he wasn't on the board, but that's a guy that you could have traded up and got. Travis Benjamin, you could have helped your receiving core. He was a 4th rounder. I mean, there's guys in these rounds that could have helped your team besides bringing another quarterback on a team where you just traded away 3 number 1 picks for. It doesn't make any sense. Why do you do this? I mean, I don't care if he was the number 1. You know, he was the best value on your board at that time. I understand that you're supposed to follow the board, you know, when you get out of the 1st and 2nd rounds, but at the end of the day, at that point in time, you can't follow the board because there's other guys that was on the board that could have helped your team more than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is going to be on your, now he's going to never contribute to your team anyway because he's never going to touch the field. So I don't understand what they were doing, you know, to be even, and it's not really any controversy to me, like people are trying to make it out to be. It's not any controversy to me, but at the same time, it's just a stupid pick. I mean, you got a call like you see, it's a stupid pick. You can address something that address another position of need on your team.
Okay, Mr.
You know,
Collins.
you could have dropped another receiver. You could have went outside linebacker. There were players on the board that could contribute to your team next year, but Kirk Cousins is a stupid pick.
All right, Talon. Let's go ahead and switch it up a little bit. I feel like I'm on ESPN's Saturday draft coverage. I mean,
well, before you switch it up, I have a couple of questionable picks.
All right, before you go there,
go ahead and discuss.
All right, give me a second before you go there. Let me just add a little something to this debate. Let's switch it up a little bit. Spectator Sport. Thanks again, folks, for tuning in. Check us out on Facebook at our page, our Spectator Sport page. Check out Holland Jungle Production page on Facebook. Our boy Muscle page. Check out Nando Chang. Please check us on Twitter also. You can reach us there at SpectatorSport, the #1, at FUK Josh, and at Holland Jungle. Let's go ahead and continue. I mean, there's a lot going on. Like as you know, this was a big sports weekend with the NFL draft coming up and the NBA playoffs basically opening up after, like I said, a million game regular season in about 30 days. So now it's playoff time. Obviously, the playoffs start this weekend. Let's go ahead and just mix it up a little bit. We love the draft. Talent lives and dies the draft. Obviously, you can tell. He has no life. He just sits around and watches the draft all day. But
yeah,
that's why we pay you the big bucks, Talent. That's why we pay you the big bucks to sit around and watch the draft. Let's go ahead and talk about the controversy that's going on with Michelle Obama and her extra balling controversial Spanish vacation. How you gonna charge the taxpayers of America $500,000 for Michelle vacation to go on vacation with Yolanda, Shaniqua, Janiqua, whoever else she's on vacation with? I shouldn't have to pay for that. What do you think about that?
Hello?
Yeah, Talon, can you hear me?
Yeah, we were breaking up there.
Okay, I apologize, Talon.
You're talking about Michelle Obama?
Well, basically, there was a story in the news this week. There's a bit of controversy that the president and the first lady were having. Obviously, Miss Obama, Miss Michelle Obama, went on vacation. You know, she elite. She balling. That's what we do. You should know about that. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I'm a 99%er. I know you are 1.5%. I know you ain't one. You probably 1.5. You're getting there, you know. So you know what it means to take big vacations outside the country. I'm sure you're well versed at that. So let's go ahead and continue on. So what ended up happening was Michelle Obama took a vacation.
Yeah, these people are ridiculous.
Yeah, man, it's all good. I know.
To even follow this woman and to make these accusations, how do we know this trip really costs as much? And who has the proof to show that the taxpayer had to pony up the $467,585 for this vacation? How do you know this?
It was reported by UK News. What happened was one of these I guess stations in the UK took it up just because of where she was staying at and the cost. But like I said, the Obamas are very well off. I mean, outside of taxpayers' generous donations, they still do get paid money for their work, and they do live for free. I mean, you ain't paying rent at the White House.
I'm looking at these reports here. Secret Service cost total nearly $255,000, and then the flight cost another $199,000. I mean, this is not like she's spending this money on herself, like for dresses and stuff like that. This woman should not have to stop going on vacation because her husband is the president of the United States. If we're talking about the money was spent on flight and security and stuff like that, that's just the cost of, her being with the president. I mean, we have to pay. These people can't stop their lives because he's running the United States. I mean, the Secret Service, we need to take out with the Secret Service. Why are they taxing the taxpayers $255,000 just to guard Michelle Obama? And also, I don't know why a flight will cost almost $200,000 to go to freaking overseas. Now, the $10,000 for the motel cost, that's something different. I mean, I don't know if that. I mean, if it's coming out of taxpayers' pockets, that's something that you probably can say. But as far as the security and the flight, come on, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's not her husband's fault that he's the president of the United States. They should have to suffer and not go on vacation because there's sick people that might want to kidnap them.
I didn't know. Excuse me. I didn't know that living in a 50 bedroom mansion was suffering. I didn't know not having to pay rent for 8 years is suffering. Over the last 4 years is suffering. What do you mean suffering? Are you referring to the suffering that
you can't walk down the street without a bunch of FBI and CIA details around you because there's crazy Americans out there that want to kidnap you? That is suffering. You're a prisoner in your own freaking body. That's suffering. I'm sorry that their lifestyle is not suffering, but being the people that they are, they can't go out and walk down the street to relax because the people out there might want to kidnap them or do something to them to get at the American people or to get back to get at President Obama. That is suffering, sir. They're prisoners in their own body.
All right. Well, you know what, folks? Let's switch it up. Thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. You know how we do. We like to mix it up. We like to talk about other stuff. We want to hold everyone accountable for all the BS they do. And you know what? We do BS too. So please don't hold us accountable because we flies.
Spectator Sport.
That's how we do it. But let's go ahead and talk about something else. I seen something else disturbing this week that had me a little bit on hinge, you know, that I kind of want to get into. Give me 1 second, Tally. You know how we do. We switch it up. We mix things up. We get into all different types of things. Spectator Sport is what we do. You can check us on Twitter. Check us on our YouTube page or on Twitter at SpectatorSport1. And we do have our YouTube page, youtube.com /FUKJosh420. You know what that 420 is all about. The gap in America. Let's go ahead and continue on. The Lakers playing right now. Can I get a score update, please, somebody? Give me a second, folks. We don't get a score update. But
points.
Lakers are losing?
Nah, come on. 95-76.
95-76. It shouldn't be much of a series. The Lakers should be able to take care of business. But I seen something that was pretty disturbing. Baseball player of the Detroit Tigers, slugger Delman Young, was arrested recently and faces he was free on $5,000 bail for a hate crime. He said a racial slur against Jews. Are you there, Talent?
No, here, go ahead. I hear what you're talking about. I know the story. I mean, people get drunk and they do stupid things. What's a big deal? I think he was just yelling out hateful things or something like that. I don't think he actually physically put his hands on nobody.
But I mean, you can't just go around yelling out hateful things, especially when you're a big black, angry black man. You can't do that. This is America.
So you need to just stop that. When you're rich, you do whatever you want.
The angry.
If I want to yell out hateful things when I'm rich, I have the money to bail myself out of jail or whatnot, I can do it. I don't care what no one else thinks about that.
Tonight I'm announcing
that black man is no longer allowed to be angry in America, else you will be charged with a hate crime. You ain't got no reason to be angry.
People get drunk and they get angry. I mean, people, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, you know, they charge a man with a hate crime. They're like he hurt somebody. I mean, it seems he was physically hurting people, but they're not physically hurting anybody. They charge a guy with a hate crime for yelling out racial things or whatever. It's just ridiculous.
Let me ask you a question, man. Does it make any sense that a guy like Kellen Moore can make it to the BCS bowl game 3 years and not get drafted? Did that make any sense to you? Why did Kellen Moore go undrafted and the Dolphins go out and get a guy like Tannehill? I mean, you explain that one to me.
I mean, the number one reason why Kellen Moore didn't get drafted is obviously due to his size. He's under 6 feet. Well, no, he's actually 6 feet. No, he's under 6 feet. They're saying he's 6 foot, but I think he's really 5'11".
Drew Brees 5'11".
He's a left-hander. He doesn't have a lot of arm strength. I don't want to drive the ball down the field. There's no velocity on his throws. I mean, and then he played in the MAC, or the WAC. He played in the WAC. I mean, at the end of the day, that doesn't say, hey, draft me, you know what I'm saying? Because you didn't go up against any top-tier talent. You don't have a strong arm, you know, and you're undersized. You know, no team is going to pick you. But Kellen Moore has been already signed to the Detroit Lions, though. So the Detroit Lions already picked Kellen Moore up as an undrafted free agent. He signed he agreed with a deal with them already. So there's teams out there that wanted him, but they just didn't want to waste a draft pick on him because, once again, like I said, he's not going to contribute to the team. So why waste a draft pick on you? I'm not going to waste a draft pick on a guy who's undersized with a weak arm that's not going to contribute to my team, you know, Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. I don't care if he's the most winningest quarterback in NCAA history or he took a team to BCS game. I just can't tell you in the NFL.
That sounds like the Tim Tebow debate to me.
You're not.
That sounds like the Tim Tebow debate to me.
Think about that.
I don't care what you did in college. I don't care that you can't throw down the field. I don't care that you had a few comebacks last year. Yo, we don't care about any of that, Tim Tebow. We only care about winning.
Wins football games. That's what Tim Tebow does. He's doing that NFL player. I don't know why you can bring up Tim Tebow when the guy does nothing but continuously wins football games. That's what he does. So I don't know why you continue to talk about Tim Tebow. The guy's a winner. Tell him more the winner, but he's going to contribute to my team next year, so I can't have you on my team. And Tim Tebow is 6'3", 240-pound quarterback with a strong arm that has one of the best deep balls in the NFL game right now. Don't compare Kellen Moore and Tim Tebow. You can't do it. Tim Tebow has 2 national titles in the, on his hands. So you can't compare the two. I don't know why you try to.
All right, let's go ahead and switch it up a little bit, Talent. Thanks again for your comments on those, folks. Thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. It's your boy, Ronnie Lott, the sports jock. Holland Jungle in the building. We got Muscle in the building. Conroy in the building. We doing it big over here, folks. Check us on Twitter at SpectatorSport1, at Holland Jungle, at FUK Josh, at Nando Chang 89, at Beast by Muscle. We see you, Bet on H. Bet on H coming back, folks. It's almost football season, so we don't have them picks for y'all. But let's continue on. It is NBA playoffs. I would be remiss if I didn't go ahead and talk about how LeBron took Melo's man card yesterday. Literally took his man card. Melo doesn't exist anymore because he's in LeBron's pocket. We don't see you, Melo. Did you see that beatdown that he put on the Knicks yesterday? Unbelievable. What do you thought about the game, Talent?
I mean, what I argue with all New York fans about is this. At the end of the day, the Knicks will not have enough to even compete with the Heat because LeBron is going to beat up Melo all day. There's nobody else on the Knicks team besides Amari that can score on their own. They need Amari to set everything up. But when you got LeBron James guarding Carmelo Anthony, I don't think they're going to blow them out by 37 points every night. Every game. But at the end of the day, they're overmatched. And the Heat's defense is just, it's off the charts. You see how they locked them up. Shane Battier did a heck of a job on Carmelo the other day, too. That's what Carmelo's going to see this whole series. He's going to see LeBron James. You're not going to be, scoring out of control against LeBron James, one of the best defensive players and the MVP of this league. This shit, you're not just going to have your way. He's playing against the best defender in the NBA right now. So it's just, they're overmatched. And Amari, if he can't beat Chris Bosh or Udonis Haslem in the one-on-one, they're really going to get blown up by 37 points. Just because that's the only matchup that the Knicks have against the Heat right now is Amari versus Bosh or Haslem, whoever it is. He needs to win that matchup every time down the court because he's taller or he's more athletic than either one of those defenders they're putting on him. So if he can't win those matchups, and with Melo, I don't think Melo's going to go 3 for 15 again, but if he can't win that matchup, Amari, the Knicks are going to be in the world of trouble and they're going to get swept. I thought that they could take the Heat to a 7-game series, but if Amari can't win that matchup down low, they're going to get swept. I promise you.
Amari's coming back from injury. You can't expect Amari to carry that team. And I can't expect Amari to go off on a 35, 40-point game. And this is the thing, man. We talked last week. I'm not talking about 35 points, but you have to win that matchup. You got to be able to grab those boards and get those down low points. I'm not talking about freaking 35-point game, but when you do things like that, that means you have to take LeBron off Carmelo to help down low, and then Melo can go against Battier all day long. I like Melo to drop 30 points against Battier, but when you're not winning that battle down low, you can leave LeBron there or Melo the whole game. Now LeBron doesn't have to help all over the court with Amari and whoever else is on the court. When he's not winning that battle, you see what happens. But let me tell you something. When he starts to win that battle against those two down low, I guarantee you they're going to take Brian off Carmelo Anthony to help with Amari Stoudemire. Because, what else can they really do if they're getting beat down low like that? You got to take the best defender you have on the floor to help with that guy. Talent. Well, this is what they would do. If you get into a situation where Amari is just killing them, they're gonna just stick Joel in there, and Joel's just gonna just be that aggressive enough to make
Come
it
on,
make it
come on.
make it
Are you
tough.
really serious right now? You really think that
Do you not remember?
Amari Stoudemire has like 3 inches on Joel Anthony.
Get out of here!
Come on,
Are you
be
kidding
real.
me? Talent. I guess you don't watch basketball.
I do watch basketball, and I know one thing. I'm going to take Amari Stoudemire over Joel Anthony, who's 6'8", and the only thing he can do
He's
is
6'10", by the way. 6'10".
The only thing he has is long arms, which is not going to do anything with this man taking you, posting you down low, who outweighs you and has 3 inches on you. Joel Anthony is not going to guard Amari Stoudemire. He blocks shots off little point guards coming into the lane. That's what he does. He's not going to, when he goes up against another big man, he's going to lose that battle every time. He's too short.
All right, let's switch it up a little bit. Do you think the Utah Jazz stand any chance in the first round?
I don't know. I don't even want to talk about the Jazz. Like, are we really going to talk about this? I don't want to talk about the Jazz. Are you serious? They have no stars on the court at all, and they're going into SpectatorSport one of the best, the second best record in the NBA. You know, it's no point. That series doesn't even make any sense to me. The Jazz shouldn't even be in the playoffs. They have no stars on their team, so I can't watch you because I don't even want to watch the game because they don't even have no stars. Please, if you're going to get beat, have some stars in your team where I can look at. I mean, you have no stars in your team, and you're going to get beat by 15 every game. It's a waste of time. You should not even allow the Utah Jazz in the playoffs this year. Same thing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Even though D-Rose tore the ACL, I still don't care. They still don't get swept. It's a waste of time to let this team in the series. They have no stars on their team, and I'm going to watch a bunch of boring basketball to see them get beat by 15 every game. I don't want to do it. So
you rather watch
about 15 points today.
So you rather watch the Stars in New York get beat by 30?
Yes, because we're not going to watch Carmelo and Amari, and some people actually can do something. I know that's not going to happen every game, but I can guarantee you one day that the Jazz are going to get blown about 15 points and get swept.
All right, let's go ahead and switch it up, man. Let's talk about one of the most cold-blooded young scorers in the league. This guy's going to be, like I said, he's the next. After that LeBron Wade tier, he's the next superstar in the wing, waiting and coming. KD did it again yesterday. He ended the game with 1.5 seconds left. Game winner. What you thought about KD's game winner?
I mean, it was a great defense by what was it, Matrix, which I hate this shot, by the way. But it was a great defense by Matrix. You know, he just got on him. He's 6'10", he has a 7-foot wingspan. So, I mean, I feel that it's going to go to 7 games. I'll tell you that right now because the Mavericks controlled that game throughout. I mean, OKC made a late run in the fourth quarter, but the Mavericks, if you watch that whole game,
that was the Mavericks game.
Controlled that whole game.
Yeah,
I mean, they were aggressive. Vince Carter got off. The Jet, Jason Terry got off, and then, you know, Dirk did his thing as usual. So I think they're going to go to 7 games. I mean, that was a tough loss. You know, they lost on the road. I mean, the road. I mean, it came down to KD a shot rolling into in the basket. But that's going to 7. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks win the series. To be honest with you.
Definitely. I definitely wouldn't be surprised they won the series. I tell you this, man, watching that game yesterday, it kind of reminded me a lot of last year and a lot of the finals, really, to be honest with you. Just the way that Dallas team just kind of hangs around, and then you see the Jet starts getting off, Dirk's doing his thing, and I mean, so even though they seem as if they should be overmatched, that team's ready to play, man. I think that's going to be a hell of a series. I mean, between that series and then Memphis and that Clippers series, that's going to be another hell of a series. The playoffs should be extremely interesting, but I got a question. Do you think the injuries, just the amount of injuries that we've seen just on day one, do you think, I mean, in the Eastern Conference, the whole playoff picture is basically changed completely. So do you think the injuries just change the complexion of the playoffs, and do you think it's kind of ruined the playoffs in the East at least with the injuries? I mean, no Dwight, no D Rose, no Dwight Howard, no D Rose. Then you lose Shumpert. I mean, wow, that's a lot of injuries.
I mean, I don't think it's been. I mean, people keep trying to blame it on the short season and all that stuff. I really don't believe that's the case. I mean, Shepard, if you've seen Shepard's injury, it had nothing to do with, no one beating him up on the body or anything like that. He was bringing up the ball. He tried to go behind his back, and his knee got caught in the ground. Same thing with D Rose. No one was around him. He just landed awkward on that knee and tore his ACL. I mean, obviously I had the Heat going to the finals anyway. So D Rose in there, not. I mean, obviously it makes the playoffs better if D Rose is there. But I still had the Heat going to the finals. So I mean, the injuries, it does hurt the NBA game because you don't have the stars. You're missing a star in Derrick Rose, but I don't think it's due to the short season at all. I just think it was just some freak accidents that happened, that occurred.
Let me ask you a question then. Let's say this. With that being said then, who you got coming out the West?
I mean, the West right now, to me, is really up in the air. Just after I seen the Mavericks, I had OKC. But now seeing the Mavericks, how they pretty much dominated the whole game for the first 3 quarters to me, my pick is up in the air right now. I don't have a pick right now, to be honest with you, because I had OKC, but then the way they played, the way the Mavericks played them the other day, I don't know if they're going to be able to get out the first round. So right now, I'm undecided. I mean, ask me in the second round who I have, but right now, I'm undecided.
Okay, since you're so undecided, Lob City or Memphis Grizzlies?
Who am I taking in that series?
Yeah. And why?
Well, I'm taking that's a tough series, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Clippers. The only reason I'm taking the Clippers is because of Chris Paul. I mean, the best point guard in the league. He can score. He gets everyone involved. He's one of the top steals, top steals people in the league right now. I mean, the guy is just great. And with Blake and Andre Jordan and Nick Young coming off the bench and Floyd and all those guys who can score the basketball, and with him running that show, I know Rudy Gay and Randolph and them, the whole Grizzlies team is talented, but I just think the difference is going to be the play of Chris Paul while the Clippers are going to beat the Grizzlies. I just think he's going to run that whole show with all those guys and getting them all involved and just the scoring that they have. I just don't believe the Grizzlies are going to be able to keep up. I mean, I think they go to 7 games, though, so I just don't think the Grizzlies, at the end of the day, they don't have a Chris Paul on their team.
Think about that.
So you're going with the whole Lob City, the whole
I
BS. They have no chance.
The
Grizzlies probably winning 5.
The 4th seed, the 4th seed, I mean, it should have been the 4th seed, but the 5th seed, they won 40 games this year. I mean, I don't know why you call it BS, though. They won 40 games. I mean, what else did you want from a team? They won 40 games this year. They're in the playoffs.
I mean, I like Lob City. I'm not saying that I don't like that team. I still think they need another year of progression. I think they're just not ready yet. And you know what? I think they're going to be dominated in the middle by Zebo and Gasol. I think Mark Gasol and Zach Randolph is going to have a field day with that team. They're just not ready. Personally, defensively, I just don't think they're at a level to play with a team of Memphis's caliber. And this Memphis team just...
I mean, if I could just jump in and chime in and say one thing to you real fast.
Sure.
I'll chime in and say one thing to you. You don't talk about defense because they're the only one of the only teams that defended the Oklahoma City Thunder this year very, very well. And with the exposure of offense that they present to every team, and with the defense that the Clippers play on them, I don't think you need to go defense there, buddy. You need to find another point.
I need to find another point. Are you kidding me? Zebo. That's all I need to say. Zebo.
They play good defense.
Zebo.
They play good defense. You see what they did to OKC this year?
Did you see what Zebo did last year in the playoffs? This guy, doesn't matter who's guarding him. Imagine this. You basically at the end of the game, you giving the ball to your power forward to take fadeaway jump shots, and this guy's absolutely wet. Zebo. That's all I need to say.
A lot is Chris Paul, and we see how many the game winners he hit this year. So Blake Griffin doesn't get the ball at the end of the game. Chris Paul does, and like I said, there's no one on the Memphis Grizzlies that is better than Chris Paul. And like I said, if you're talking about athleticism-wise, the Clippers match up with any team. Any team in the NBA they match up with them athleticism-wise, and that's why they have that's why they can beat up the OKC like they had this whole entire season. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't look at the defense because that defense can't get the job done.
So which LA team makes it farther then? Which LA team goes farther?
which LA team go further? I mean, you have to look at the Lakers just because. Yeah, I mean, you got to say the Lakers just because of Andrew Bynum. I mean, obviously they have Kobe Bryant, but I just think Andrew Bynum's size is just too much for the Clippers at the end of the day. I mean, you got to go to Lakers.
All right, let's go ahead and switch it up a little bit. Spectator Sport. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. This is Big Show. We like to do it big. We like to go crazy. I haven't been a world star lately. I just been tired of watching women dance scantily clad with not much clothes on, with random hip-hop music in the background. I haven't been on that. But let me get some. Give me some G's. Let me hear some. I feel like going to G5 or something. But I ain't got no money. What I'm gonna do in G5? But watch all the ballers throw all the money. But I ain't a baller, so what I'm gonna do? Woo!
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna sit at home and analyze the draft.
Don't be in the club. That's what you don't need to be at. Go. Go.
Yeah, we still here, folks. Spectator Sports, what we do. Sometimes we like to jam a little Jeezy. Hey, man, you heard that Future and Wonka mixtape? What do you think about that?
No, I haven't heard that Future and Wonka yet, to be honest.
Are you kidding me?
I need to go check that out.
Ah, man, you slipping. Give that one.
New album, the Pluto album, Future. I can go ahead and co-sign that. That's a good album. Go ahead and cop that on iTunes. Don't burn it, you losers. You know, even though I downloaded it, don't follow me, don't be like me, you know, be better than me. But you go ahead and cop Future album, go support him, Pluto. You know, it's a good, you know, got some bangers on there.
Definitely agree with that. I mean, I like the kid Future. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the auto-tunage, but at the same time, you know, flies, that's what we do. Auto-tune, no auto-tune, we doing it big. You know, folks, we doing it big. We put cats, we knock them out. We knock them out over here at Spectator Sport, you know. Thanks again, folks. You tune into the livest show. We get live over here. You got a You a Fool for me, man? Tell me something. Tell me you got a You a Fool for me.
My You a Fool this week. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you guys seen the baseball player that hit the bird with the baseball. That's why You a Fool to me. Come on, man. You can't hit him. You can't hit a harmless little bird who just minds his business with a baseball. Who does that? Why would you do something like that to a bird? A harmless bird. What type of human being just hits a defensive animal that's not doing nothing but flying around, mind his business, you know, and he pegs the thing with the ball, even though the bird didn't die. But that's my Fool of the week. Pitchers can't do it. Don't pick on defenseless human beings. I mean, defenseless animals.
Definitely, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Peter, where y'all at, man? Y'all ain't doing your job, Peter. Y'all over here, you know, come on, man. You can't have birds getting knocked out by fools who got too much extra time on their hand because they play baseball and they got a 180-game season, and some of these guys only play like half the season. You know what I mean? Come on, get out of here, man. You a fool, sucker. You a fool.
You a fool.
Makes no sense. But let's go ahead and switch it up. Let me give you my You a Fool. Because there's always some foolish stuff I see on here. You know, we always on Facebook. Before I give you my You a Fool, I want to talk about the LA riots of 1992. 20 years ago today, folks, the LA riots went off. The Lakers and the Clippers were in the playoffs, and the city burned. Lakers and the Clippers are in the playoffs again. And if the Clippers... Imagine Lakers and Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. Oh, my goodness. LA's going to burn. No, any chance of that happening?
What?
Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, there's always outside chance because the West is up in the air right now. I mean, you don't have a clear-cut team that you could say, you know, I mean, with the Spurs, I mean, you could probably say the Spurs, but they have such a weak matchup in the Jazz. I mean, but... anything can happen at this point in time. I mean, OKC, any team can be beat besides the Utah Jazz beating the Spurs right now in the West.
All right. Kobe did work today, baby. Kobe did work. What do you think about Kobe? Kobe had 31 points. Bynum ties the postseason record for blocks as the Lakers basically cruised in the first game. What do you think about Kobe? You think Kobe got another run left in him?
I I'm sorry, say that again?
You think Kobe has another run left in him? I mean, he had 31 points today.
The man did was the second. You know, he almost won a scoring title this year, second in points in the NBA. I mean, yes, he has another one of them. I think Kobe has another 2-3 seasons left in, and after this season as well. So, I mean, I think Kobe, I don't think they can make it run. Like I said, the West is up in the air, but Kobe, I think he's fine. I mean, he scored average 27 this year, and he sat out 10 games. So, come on. I mean, Kobe's straight.
What does sitting out 10 games have to do with you averaging 27? That made no sense.
Well, the sense of the Knicks, sir, is that you should have won a scoring title. Why are you asking me a question about Kobe Bryant? Does he have another run in him when he averaged 27 points this year and almost won a scoring title? That's what I'm saying. Why are you asking me that question? It's a joking question, to be honest with you, because the guy he should have won a scoring title and he shut out 10 games, and he still had a chance if he wanted to win it. He didn't want to win it because it didn't matter to him. So to ask me a question that Kobe does he have another run in him is a joke.
Andrew
Did
Bynum.
you not watch the NBA season this year? I mean, you must always not be watching basketball.
So check this out. Check out Andrew Bynum's stat line. 10 points, 10 blocks, 13 rebounds. Are you kidding me? 10 blocks? Come on. What are you guys doing in Denver over there? Come on, man. I know Ty Lawson's a little bit short, but come on. You kidding me? Folks.
Andrew Bynum's a monster. I mean, the guy's 7'1", 280 pounds or whatever he is. He's a beast, and the wingspan's ridiculous. I mean, 10 blocks, I expect that out of him every night, every game.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here. Thanks again for tuning into the livest show ever, Spectator Sport. Let me give you my You a Fool real quick. Can I give you this song? You a fool, you a fool, you a fool. Yeah, folks.
Please cut that out.
I'm trying to get into or tap into my inner Brian McKnight. Did you see that Brian McKnight song? Are you kidding me? Brian McKnight made a song about his penis and how his penis works. Brian McKnight, you tripping, man. He's actually dropping an adult album. Seriously, the song's called This Is How Your Penis Works.
He probably made it for the ladies. He didn't make the song for you. So
obviously, he didn't make it for me. I'm not his demographic. But he's gonna drop an album. He's gonna drop an adult album, adult R&B album. So that should be dope though, man. So he's gonna be singing about stuff like he's talking about, show you how your stuff works and how your cock works. I'm like, whoa, Brian McKnight. I mean, and he's dropping a lot of YouTube videos. This guy's like, he's trending worldwide over doing songs about of this sexual, explicit type nature. But hey, that's what we do, Spectator Sport. Brian McKnight, you a fool.
Fool. You a fool.
And next time you want to talk about your junk, do it at home, not on the internet. We love you, Whitney.
Stop that shit. All right, man.